heating up your body and warming your soul like the ancient tiny kotatsu in your cramped apartment that you got from the English teacher that lived there before you. It's DIA, or Dudes in Asia. What up, peoples? As always, this is David Hayter.
And this is David Wynn, a.k.a. the Notorious NOOG.
It's Tuesday, January 22nd. Tonight, we also have a special guest. This will be our second interview on this show, and we're interviewing my homeboy Chris. Say what up to him.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, welcome to the show, Chris. Nice to meet you, and looking forward to the interview, man.
Yeah, same here. Looking forward as well. Nice to meet you.
Nice. So anyways, what's going on with you, Hater?
Yeah, same old stuff. Another day in paradise. As you know, or maybe you don't know, it's the flu season in Japan. It's kind of a big deal because, the flu is very dangerous for young kids and, old people. And that's, there's a lot of old people in Japan, and, they want kids because the population's going down, But, today at my job, man, there are, 7 people out with the flu. 7 teachers, Yeah, so...
I guess you two weren't one of them.
Nope, not me. No, these were, Japanese teachers,
Japanese teachers, all right.
Yeah. And then this weekend, I finally beat Red Dead Redemption 2.
Bastard.
Yeah, that was a good game. But yeah, man, I think I was messaging. I was like, dude, just beat Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like, sweet, how was it? I was like, still watching the credits. It's 20 minutes in.
Jeez.
Yeah, I put in 2 hours today. I don't know how far I am.
Just keep on trucking, man.
Yeah.
And then this last weekend, man, I went to go eat okonomiyaki. So for those of you who don't know, Chris is an English teacher out here with me. Spoiler alert. No.
Oops.
Yeah, we kick it from time to time. Yeah, that's cool, man. We kick it from time to time. But I actually went out this last Saturday to this okonomiyaki spot. I've been talking about going for a long time. The place is pretty good. Yeah, that's an old inside joke back there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
so you went with Chris?
No, I didn't go with Chris. I've been talking about going with Chris though. With my girlfriend. But yeah, in this place, you cook your own food. You know what I mean? And it's pretty good, but it's just hot, as fuck.
Wait.
Inside.
Okonomiyaki is that. Is that kind of like that pancake-ish thing?
Yeah, it's a Japanese pizza. No.
You had to cook that yourself? Was that difficult?
A little bit. The hardest part is flipping it.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's pretty chill, man. It's $13 for all you can eat okonomiyaki. Right? But then that's all you can eat pancakes, man. You can't eat that many. It's bullshit.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they bring out all the ingredients in a bowl, and then you just mash it all together. You just mix it all up. And then once it's all mixed, then you have this teppan, the iron skillet, the giant like on your table. And you just squirt some oil on there, and then you dump out all the ingredients and you put it into a circle and just let it sit. And then when it looks like it's done, you just flip the shit and let it cook some more.
What was the craziest one you made?
We got one. It was called soul okonomiyaki, and so it just has pork and kimchi in it and squid,
Okay.
But there's a thing called monjayaki.
Oh, see, these are set. It's not just you just kind of randomly mix your own okonomiyaki. Yeah.
So it's frying it as you like.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, you order from a menu and it's set together,
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty cool. Other than that, I've been trying to get on my workout. I started last Monday. So in 1 week, I don't make resolutions, right? But I want to lose weight. Anyway, but I started doing that Focus T25 with the Shan T. 1 week, I'm down 2 kilos, man. 4.4 pounds.
Dirty bastard, dude. Dirty bastard.
But see, man, I can gain 3 kilos.
What was your diet? Yeah, that's true. But what was your diet though? What was your diet?
So doing the intermittent fasting kind of thing, right? And I'm
so
glad
that's working for you?
Yeah. I'm glad I talked to you about it because I was gonna be eating soup in the morning. You're that don't work, bro. It's huh?
Yeah, you break the fast if you do that.
Yeah. So in the morning, like I don't eat nothing. I just like
Yeah.
drink water, drink black coffee, maybe like tea or something, you know? I don't know if tea is okay. I haven't really drank tea. I'm not sure. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I think water and black coffee is cool. I'm not sure about tea, depending on the type of tea, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then for lunch, I just eat the school lunch, man, at my school. You know, that good government lunch.
Yeah.
And then
Isn't that shit amazing, though?
what's up?
It's pretty good.
Like when you're like that hungry.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
Like that first meal of the day is just like, oh yes.
It is good.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless.
So I usually eat when it's lunchtime at my school, and so that's either like 12:20 or like 12:50, you know, or 12:40. I mean, yeah. And then for dinner, I'll just eat like a bowl of oatmeal with like raisins and like almonds, you know, and like a glass of milk. That's
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That explains why you lost 2 kilograms in like a week.
Yeah, but even still though, like when was it? Like Thursday? Yeah, we're kicking it at my house, and like I was eating a bunch of snacks after dinner and like drinking beer and stuff, you know. And then like on the Friday, like I went out to eat dinner, and like Saturday I went to that okonomiyaki spot. So we'll see, man.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, not too bad though, dude.
Nice.
But yeah, man, what's going on with you, player?
Let's see. I went to like a gala dinner for my wife's company, like a year-end party. That was pretty cool. Grace was just super easy. She's just like, you just take her anywhere. She don't give a damn, dude.
I see.
Grace is my daughter, by the way, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then let's see what else is new. Still on the workout routine, but like each day is getting like progressively harder. Like I think today I almost like tapped out, but I still went swimming. But
Dang.
so yeah. So anyways, I've been doing this since December. I've missed only one day, and then I've been doing this so I can go for my trip to Muine. It's like a beach city tomorrow. So for my friend's wedding. So I'm gonna really enjoy my time out there. That's all I could say.
Nice.
Right on, man.
That
Sounds
should
like
be,
good
man.
times.
Yes, it will. So anyways, let's get started with this interview and talk with Chris, man.
Yeah, you know what?
Alright.
I brought him in to do this interview, but now I changed my mind, man. I don't want to talk to this man. Like, it's not interesting at all. Why did we have him on here for? Hi, no, I'm messing with him. You know, for those of you who don't know about the Senpai Kohai system in Japan, like, since I've been here longer, it's basically my job to make sure his life is miserable.
It's the art of taking BS, you know?
Yeah, the art of giving and the art of taking it. You know, like you break someone down and then you rebuild them in your own image.
Yes. So you can learn to do it down the line too, you know? It's kind of passing it down.
Yeah. But like I said before, you know, we like to have interviews with people on here so you can kind of learn from other people's experiences. You know, and my homeboy Chris graciously decided to come in and bless us with his presence.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
So Chris is one of my coworkers. He's been out here for a little bit. So yeah, man, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from America to Asia and Japan.
Okay. So yeah, my name's Chris. I'm 26 right now. Was born and raised in Long Beach, California. My parents were Cambodian. We came in from Cambodia, so I'm Cambodian American. Always had an interest in language, music, games, and anime. You know, I've been out here for about 2.5 years so far. So what brought me out to Japan was because, you know, my interest when I was younger in Japanese culture, pop culture, and in particular, you know, as I said, with music, games, and anime. And from like when I finished elementary school and before, when I finished middle school and before entering high school, my sister looked into like the whole language requirement and stuff like that. She's like, "Oh, hey, you got to take a language. What do you want to take?" I'm like, you know what? I want to take Japanese. So from the age of when I was 13, I started taking Japanese classes for that requirement. And I ended up doing 4 years at Long Beach Poly of Japanese. And then, like, in my third year, I ended up taking up German, too, for, like, another 2 years, which was pretty fun for me, like balancing like learning languages. So I've always had an interest in Japanese language and culture, and during my studies, I learned more about Japan and Japanese lifestyle. So I thought, you know what? Someday I'd love to go to Japan, you know? It feels an embedded interest for me, especially since like I found out like all the stuff that I was really into, a lot of it was like Japanese. Well, basically all of it.
Yeah.
So
For sure, dude. Well, and I think part of it too is like, because I think it's kind of interesting how all of us are from Long Beach, And we're
Right?
lucky enough to have that connection between Long Beach and Yokkaichi. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that works out to our benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially at that time too, like when I learned about this program, I always felt like a connection because I was born and raised in Long Beach. And the thing is, when I was 16, when I actually was at Long Beach Poly, as David and Hader and Noogie are from as well, or went to as well, which is quite a small world we're in,
Yeah.
like along with like that whole experience, like when I was 16, the Yokkaichi Trio exchange program had first showed up to me. So like the teacher that I had at the time said, "Hey Chris, you should try this out." In which like I applied for. I went there and well, I wasn't actually accepted for it, so I was just like, "Ah, dang, that sucks."
Yeah.
Like one of my friends had who I had helped out with Japanese and getting chosen for that. I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of nice. Good for him."
Zande.
And then Zanden Kiro. I pushed through it, you know what I mean? And then the second with the Yokkaichi Environmental Summit, I'm like, "Oh hey, I got another chance to go to this Yokkaichi. Looks kind of interesting." And then another friend of mine had actually beat me up to it, who also asked for my help. But I'm just like, you know what? Forget this. I'm gonna try to serve Long Beach itself, and I ended up landing a job as a youth office assistant in Long Beach City Hall. But because I'd fallen down twice from that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna actually take up full Yokkaichi English flows thing. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then I put all my my effort into getting into this job here that I am now, which I'm very thankful for. And man, I'm just glad to say that I'm here. We got the job. So
nice, man. Nice.
That's what brought me out here.
For sure,
Nice.
man.
Yeah.
So, have you been to anywhere else in Asia, Chris?
Actually, I've only been to say, it doesn't really count because they're layovers, but I've only stopped in Taiwan for a bit. I didn't even eat the food there for my first time, but then the second time I went on the trip to visit America again, I actually stopped in Guangzhou and Shanghai first, and then Guangzhou, which I then was able to at least check out the airport food.
Nice.
Sure.
So it was pretty cool, but it was kind of a humbling experience too, because I practiced and studied Japanese when I was younger, so I can get around using Japanese. But when I got to China, it was just friggin' no man's land. I'm like, I don't even know what they're saying. I don't even know what's up. I can only say thank you, and that's it,
Yeah.
So that was really trippy for me.
Ni hao ma. You're like, I don't speak that.
It's ni hao ma, hi, so this.
Yeah. Right on, man. But yeah, I was telling Chris though, man, because I'm planning to go out to Vietnam, and the homie Chris got to check out his home country, man. You come out there, we'll have to go out to Cambodia.
Word,
Yes.
dude. Word.
Yes,
You gotta
absolutely.
definitely check out Phnom Penh and Angkor Wat.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely check out the Killing Fields. That was a very sombering experience, man.
Oh,
That was
dang, I can
that was
imagine.
trippy. It was as when we were walking, you can still see bones popping out, dude. It's just crazy.
Oh, are you serious? That's
Yeah,
insane.
dude. They said there's just such a sick amount of bones under there that's just gonna keep popping up during the rainy season.
Wow.
That's
You just feel when you get there, you
horrible.
just feel the vibe, dude. The vibe is just dude, something feels off here, dude.
That's so.
Anyways, yeah, you gotta. Yeah, since you're a Cambodian American, you should at least like check out your like your roots.
Yeah.
And you definitely gotta learn that. It's just so crazy, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, because my mother and father, they lived through all that whole, Khmer Rouge genocide thing.
Yeah, and Pol
That's-
Pot and all that.
So many stories.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
Absolutely. And they told me all the stories. I'm just like, they're so gruesome. But then, like, to actually go out there and see it myself, I'm sure that's going to be something like, I don't know, like mesmerizing in a sense,
Without
It's
a
probably
doubt,
really
man.
trippy.
Well,
Yeah.
see, what you got to do is you get out there, and then you go to
Yeah.
a place like that, and it's very serious, and you take it all in.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the city, and you drink like 50 beers to try to forget about it.
Hey, that's part of living it up, right?
Yep.
Living it up in the stead of people who couldn't, in a sense.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
that
very
was
true.
surprisingly deep.
Yeah. But anyway, dude, I was gonna hit you again, man.
Yeah.
I know that you kind of covered it already, but like,
What's up?
what was your big reason for wanting to come to Asia? Like, why did you choose to come to Japan specifically instead of like pursuing a different career? You know what I mean? Like,
Man,
you can just
you
talk
know-
on it briefly,
Okay, briefly, let's say a lot of it is actually honestly due, in fact, to like one of my teachers who was like super supportive when I was younger. Like, high school days for me weren't like very bright or happy. Family like matters weren't so like, everything was on like, wasn't really on track or whatever. But then like the teacher that I met, I told her, I was like, you know what? I really like Japanese. I feel like I got a skill for this. I'm going to go ahead and be a translator, interpreter. She's like, you know what, Chris? You're definitely the type to be a teacher. I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to try that out. And she's, and it's from that little inspiration. She's like, Chris, I feel like that you're the type that's able to like change people, like to make an influence. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. That's what really like inspired me to go out there to Japan and just like experience it, just to teach and, just live a whole new life out there and see like to broaden my horizons, just explore, That's kind of
cool.
what ended up going
That's
on.
cool, man. Which teacher told you this, man?
She was I don't know if you guys had her. I'm pretty sure she wasn't there at the time, but her name was Sojanen Sensei.
Sounds familiar. Is she a Japanese teacher?
No, yeah, she's a Japanese teacher. Yes.
We didn't have her then. I think it was all guys when we were there, right?
Yeah. we had-
I see. Like Mr. Inui, right?
Yeah, like when we were there, it was like
Yeah.
Mr. Filippo, Mr.
Filippo.
Inui, and Mr. Carr.
Oh, I've heard about Mr.
Yeah,
Carr too.
I heard Mr.
yeah.
Carr passed away.
Oh my goodness, that's insane.
Yeah, so
Seriously?
she probably replaced him,
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been teaching there for like a while, actually, too.
Mhm.
Also, like a recent project that I've been working on, like at schools, was a pen pal project because she had her kids write in like Japanese and English, sent it to my kids, and like I had them write either in Japanese if they wanted to, or English if they wanted to challenge themselves too.
Oh, that's
So I
cool,
really
man.
owe a lot to that teacher,
Right
and
on,
I thought
dude.
like, in the end, it's been a very like uplifting choice for me.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, man, you said you've been teaching for 2.5 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, what's your current difficulties that you're encountering living in Japan?
Like in terms of like working out here in Japan, like I feel like for me, like Japanese work ethic is like very high, like people basically devote themselves to their work and like they give them their all to like their company or say like to their school or their kids. And sometimes I feel like as I see that, I feel an inclination to try to match that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like kind of because of that, it's almost a little bit physically and mentally taxing to like try to mix to work on that. I mean, to match it as say the teachers are doing themselves. But what that ended up doing, especially in my first year, and definitely not as much now, was leading to me taking a lot of work home, like, and where work basically bled into play and leisure time.
Oh.
So yeah. So one of my biggest things that I struggled with out here when I got here was basically finding the work balance and leisure balance.
Yeah, I
So
think in Japan they call it the work-life balance, you know?
yeah, work-life balance. Yeah,
I think that's a struggle you're gonna have your whole life, man.
yeah, right. You
That's a
think
struggle you have the whole life. It's like you got to find that because there's just certain times you got to just like up it up a notch for work, and then you burn out. So that's just gonna struggle throughout your whole life, dude.
Yeah, I totally realize. I totally can like second that for sure.
But
Especially now, where I'm just like all is work, but then like none is play.
Well, Chris is not like your ordinary American English teacher. Like he's more Japanese than Japanese people.
I don't know how. I do not know how many times I've been told that.
Yeah, but and I think it's just like. We're talking about dudes in Asia. I'm the only dude that's not Asian. I'm just the token weeaboo over here.
Hey.
But no, it's cool, man. But anyway, it's just like I feel like for you have like you feel a lot of respect from being here, and you feel a lot of respect for your coworkers. And
that's
so
right.
you really buy into that system of like, you've given me this opportunity and like, I'm going to put out like none other, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, that's straight it. Yeah.
Just do it as a local, right?
Yeah. But
when in Rome, right?
Yeah. But, and like, we all work together. I've been here like a couple more years than Chris. Like I've been around the block. I've worked in a lot of places, and I'm just I'm like, you can get things done. I'm like, but you got to take care of yourself, man. Like nobody's going to teach these classes if you die.
Absolutely. And even then now too, like, Hater, like think about it recently, the past weeks and even like the weeks leading on to, before winter vacation, as sick as I was, as bad as my throat was, how bad I was feeling, I just kind of like gaman, basically, holding out, without like trying to, take breaks or whatever the heck. And I think that's just something that's like super difficult for me to get around. It's just like not gamaning, just saying like, okay, time to throw in the towel. Gotta go home and sleep, or something.
Well, yeah, there's a big thing in Japan. They call it like the culture of gaman,
Yes.
And so like it kind of comes from the old like samurai days, where like you would have a battle, and like to have victory in battle is like the best thing, It's like that Conan, what is best in life?
Oh yeah.
But and so like people would like devote their whole like life, for whatever cause they had. And like
that's true.
Yeah, people would just push through whatever they had. It's like if you're sick, like if you don't feel well, like too bad, you go get the job done,
Mm-hmm.
And like so that kind of transferred from the battlefield like to the office. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. Seriously.
And then
like directly.
Yeah, but the thing too, when you think about it, right? And like they've done like surveys and there's been articles written about it. They're like, why do you not take time off of work? And they're like, because I feel guilty. And they're like,
dang.
Yeah. And they're like, why do you feel guilty? He's like, because I feel like I'm not pulling my own weight and I make more work for other people,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going off of the whole making work for other people, too. Like, one of my teachers, going back to the influenza topic, too. Like, she'd caught influenza and, like, she was just, like, the whole time. It's like, oh, my God, Chris, I'm so sorry. You guys have to take up, like, the stead and everything like that. I'm like, it's cool. We'll handle it. And she came back. She's like, oh, here's all this paperwork stacked up, too. And it's like... It's just like going around telling the other teachers like, hey, don't worry, I'll pick up the slack. I'm like, man, you got all this work to work on already. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, and like, yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, it's just crazy how much they'll work for that, And I feel too, it's not even about like the boss, like what they think. It's just about the coworkers, man. Like people are very bonded in their work out here,
That's right,
Yeah. But for me, yeah, go for it, dude. What are you saying?
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, also, I read, like, one of the Proverbs or something like that, where they said, like, with ninjas, it's like the single arrow is one that can be broken alone, but a band of arrows is not very easily broken. So one of those, like, quotes that I read a long time ago really stuck true, and I kind of see it, like, in terms of the Japanese, like, groupism working together, trying to pull each other's like own weight together as like a unit. It's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, man, it's very true, dude. So moving on to the next question I got for you, man. Like, what kind of advice would you have for somebody who's thinking about kind of following your path, or someone who wants to come and live in Japan or somewhere in Asia? Like, what would you tell somebody that's like, hey, dude, I'm thinking about doing what you're doing?
You know what? I thought about this earlier today, but for me, like, I have like two things in particular, like not too like in depth, but well, let's just get into it. Like the first one I'd say is like at least learn like before coming to like any country, whether it be Japan or maybe China, Korea, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, anywhere it is. I feel like it's very important at least to get an understanding of the basic phrases or the basic grammar of like the language. So like if in the case like if you're not in like a big city scenario, which maybe you want to explore like the Inaka countryside or stuff like that, I think it's good to know some basic phrase like where is this or what is this or stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
And I think so too, like especially for people who come out to visit, maybe even for business too. Like I notice a lot in my experiences that Japanese people are like very overjoyed when they see foreigners take the time to learn their language. Like, oh my goodness, you actually know how to like say this. You actually took the time and effort to learn about language. And even on top of that too, bouncing off of language, the second point I want to bring up is reading up on like etiquette. Say like wherever that you go to, like for example, for Japanese etiquettes, like do's and don'ts. I feel like it really goes a long way to read customs and etiquette before you come to Japan. I feel like especially in like a society like Japan, it'll really impress people, like showing that you took the time and effort to learn about their culture. I feel like learning about their culture will put you basically in a very positive light. Like, wow, you actually took a lot of time to like, not only did you come out to live here, but you took time to kind of like realize what we do as part of us, and you're respecting us that way. I feel like being polite, courteous, and just respectful of people's cultures will give you a very much better experience, whether it's a short or extended amount of time,
Yeah,
so,
man, definitely.
Yeah. And I think like on top of that too, like we are representative of our respective foreign countries too. And, like sometimes you see foreigners out there just completely like ignorant of like cultural, things, or just etiquette. It's like straight up being rude, loud, and stuff like that. So, I want to see like people who come out here to give foreigners like us a good image in Japan, because I remember seeing like that whole like what is it that one guy on YouTube, whatever his name, Paul Logan, whatever. Man, that guy was just a train wreck. But if we can put like the image of foreigners in a good image, I think that would work not only for people who visit out here, but for other people to visit in the future.
Yeah, for
Sorry,
sure, man.
That's kind of long. So
That's cool, man. That's cool.
yeah.
But and I think that's just a big thing to consider moving forward is like, a lot of people have this idea in their mind where it's like, I've graduated college.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm here to make all this money. Like, I'm great, but it's like, you got to know where you at. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like, you got to just be cool. You know what I mean? And like, be happy for what you got. And
Absolutely.
then, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's all good. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
It looks like we're actually hitting that 30-minute mark, dude. Like,
oh dang, it's already been that long?
It has been, dude. You got anything else you want to tell our listeners, man? Anything else you want to say?
Wow, no, not real, nothing extra except for I'm just really glad to have this opportunity to be on the airwaves with Hader and Noogie out here. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and it's been really fun for me too. So
nice, thanks.
Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, Long Beach represent, player.
Absolutely,
Right on, man. Well, that'll do it for another fresh episode of Dudes in Asia. I want to give a big thanks to my homie Chris for agreeing to be on the show today.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you. so much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Now, you know that you will not be compensated for this at all, but I already gave you like a shot of tequila and 2 cocktails, man, so you better be happy.
Hey, that's more than enough for me, man.
I don't want to hear your bitching when we go back to work tomorrow.
You know, no promises, but, you know, maybe another cocktail could silence that.
Okay, well, I'll see what I can do for it. Anyway, man, we always like having our guests on here in our show so our listeners can learn more about life abroad, you know, not just from our perspective, but from other people's perspectives. So, you know, we look forward to bringing you more interviews in the future.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's going to be great. Hey.
Yeah, thanks again, Chris, for coming on the show. Nice to hear another dude on the beach, especially 9 years after us, man. It's kind of like a small world, dude.
I know, right? It's really trippy, though.
It is trippy.
Glad to be a part of this.
Yeah.
It brings it all
So
together.
anyway, yeah. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to check out our blog at dudesinAsia.blogspot.com or hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/dudesinasia. This is the Notorious NOOG signing out.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, search for @DavidHater. That's @DAVIDH8R. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.
See ya.